Hey guys, Ben here from Wrestling Life. Now, recording this one quite late on a Sunday afternoon because whilst the rest of the world has been enjoying the delights of WrestlePalooza and All Out, I've been away for the weekend celebrating my wedding anniversary in a little cabin in the woods in the middle of nowhere with no Wi-Fi and certainly no social media. I came back a little while ago, looked at my timeline, and whilst I'm taking a break from WWE programming at the moment, the very first thing I see is that Stephanie McMahon, of all people, has been inducted, or her announcement has been made that she's going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2026. Now, this is a break of form from WWE. Usually they don't make these announcements anywhere near this early in the calendar year. But I guess it's a McMahon. Let's do things differently. So I did watch the clip. My curiosity was obviously piqued. I will still dip in from time to time and see the old clip on social media because I want to be able to provide good, up-to-date insight on this channel. So I looked and saw how it had all happened with The Undertaker. So The Undertaker comes down, American Badass style, gets a huge pop, rides down his motorcycle. No one knows why he's there, but he's there for Stephanie McMahon. We know this as the viewers because the WWE producers, being as subtle as a brick, have the cameras framed on Stephanie pretty much from the second The Undertaker starts rolling himself down the aisle. She's there clapping away, cheering on the dead man, and he says that he wants to pop over the barricade and sit next to her. And then he does his best Triple H impression with an "Are you ready?" and talks about how long they've gone back. Now, of course, they've gone back a long time because we all remember him sacrificing Stephanie 25 years ago on a big giant cross / Undertaker symbol. But we won't go there. They're now the best of friends. They've obviously known each other for a long, long time. And The Undertaker says that it's his honour to induct Stephanie McMahon into the 2026 WWE Class Hall of Fame. Now, Stephanie apparently didn't know this was coming. She looks emotional. They have a big hug. Of course, Nick Khan is sitting right by. He has to come up and have a big hug to end the segment. Happy days all round. Michael Cole talks about how this is a testament to her leadership, how she's put her body on the line, how he wouldn't have a career without Stephanie McMahon. Wade Barrett talks about how this is the culmination of an incredible career for Stephanie McMahon. And Michael Cole finishes the segment by talking about how Stephanie will be enshrined in the WWE Hall of Fame alongside her husband, Paul Levesque. Now, that kind of leads me on to the point of this video of whether, does she deserve it, and was this the right time to make the announcement? So I'm going to come to the first bit first. Does Stephanie McMahon deserve this? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and be all snarky and be like, oh, Stephanie McMahon, what's she doing in the Hall of Fame? Stephanie McMahon, as an on-screen character alone, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. She's been a mainstay on WWE programming for over 25 years now. She was genuinely one of the best heels during the Attitude Era. She's an incredible on-screen character. Like her or not, she's amazing television. She always has been. She took to that role in 1999-2000 like a duck to water, and the McMahon-Helmsley era was tremendous programming throughout 2000s, not to mention the roles that she had in the love triangles with Kurt Angle or Triple H, or her role with the ECW Invasion, or everything that's come since. You know, Stephanie McMahon has brought a huge amount of entertainment to us as fans, and for that alone I have no doubt that she deserves a place in the Hall of Fame someday. One thing I've seen a lot of comments on, I was going to say this myself before I saw the comments on the timeline, is no issue with Stephanie getting in, but how the heck does Stephanie McMahon get in before Victoria? Victoria, Lisa Marie Varon, was one of the very first people I had as a guest on Wrestling Life. I said back then to her, this was 2 years ago, you've got to be in the Hall of Fame soon. I'm still waiting for that to happen. It's bound to happen. But WWE, of course, has a history of inducting one woman a year into the Hall of Fame. So if Stephanie's going in, does that mean yet another year of waiting for one of the most innovative and popular characters in wrestling history for Victoria to be inducted? So that's the first issue. The second part of this video, really, I want to talk about is timing. So I don't have a problem with Stephanie McMahon being inducted into the Hall of Fame at all. It is well deserved. Some would argue whether or not she deserves quite the amount of accolades she's getting for spearheading the women's revolution, because quite frankly, the women's revolution should have happened with or without a Stephanie McMahon. The talent was there. It was long overdue anyway. I don't disagree that she was a lobbying voice for it, but I don't think it's fair to say that because of Stephanie McMahon we had the women's revolution, because that women's revolution was led by those incredible women and the work they did in the ring to make it happen. But the thing I wanted to talk about really was the timing of this, because it was only about 6 months ago that Triple H was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame for a second time. I've just had Ross Hart on the show. We talked about his induction speech, his pretty much hour-long induction speech between him and Shawn Michaels, which came largely at the expense of Bret Hart and Steve Austin having their moment out on that night. We have this really, really self-indulgent induction speech from someone who we see on television all the time anyway, and someone who we're going to see on television for the next 20, 30 years most likely. So the timing of having his wife being inducted just for next year doesn't really sit particularly well. If WWE had taken a bit more time with this, I think it would have probably been more positively received. At least that's my perspective. The other thing when it comes to timing is just the optics of this. So thinking with my PR hat on, it's my PR hat. Thinking with my PR hat on, next year you've got WrestleMania in Saudi. My camera's doing crazy things. WrestleMania is in Saudi in 2027. We know the controversy of that. We know what that has done. We know how people are feeling about that. WWE would have a golden opportunity in 2027 to induct Stephanie McMahon into the Hall of Fame around WrestleMania 43. And for a country that's obviously had so many kind of issues when it comes to human rights violations and where women are not celebrated in the same way as they are in the West, wouldn't it be a great way to showcase Saudi as this progressive, forward-thinking country, to have Stephanie McMahon, this successful, strong businesswoman, being inducted into the Hall of Fame over WrestleMania Riyadh weekend? That just feels like such a ready-made opportunity for WWE. But instead of doing that, they're going to do it over WrestleMania 42 weekend in Vegas, when I think if they had announced their first inductee being someone like a John Cena or a Randy Orton, someone who was, indisputable and that no fans can take offence with, you would have seen just so much happiness being at that announcement. Whereas I think because of how they've done it with Stephanie and the way that it's kind of yet again kind of keeping it in the family of WWE, it's just not really sitting well, I think, with a lot of the fan base. I think, of course, when you look at kind of this and where it sits in terms of the PR space of WWE, I mean, we've just gone through this horrible few weeks for the company between the rise in ticket prices, the backlash over WrestleMania 43, this debacle over ESPN. I think WWE could have really done with a win right now, and I'm not sure whether inducting a McMahon into the WWE Hall of Fame right now is exactly sending the right message to the public. I mean, Vince McMahon used to always say that he wouldn't be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. He used to always say that would never be something that would happen. And obviously, for wider reasons now, that's not going to happen. But for the first time ever, a McMahon is going into the Hall of Fame. It's not Linda, it's not Shane, it's certainly not Vince, it is Stephanie. And I don't know, I'm just kind of feeling a bit conflicted about it. I think mainly because of the optics and the timing. I think just like for me, this isn't the time to do this. I would have waited a year or 2 years to do this, and I think doing so would have had this be far better received by the wider fan base. But hey, who am I to say anything, eh? These are just opinions, as always, from me on this channel, and I want to hear what you have to say as well. What do you think? I mean, the reality is, Stephanie McMahon does deserve this. As I said at the start, she's been a mainstay in WWE for a quarter of a century. She's lived her entire life around the industry. She couldn't be more intrinsically linked in the World Wrestling Federation or World Wrestling Entertainment than she possibly is. She did champion the Women's Revolution. She is a women's champion in her own right. She was an incredibly effective heel. She has been a stabilising presence on WWE for a long, long time. she has played a very strong backstage role, and she's a great ambassador for the company. So I'm not saying that Stephanie McMahon doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying that there's a time and a place to do these things. And if I'd been WWE, my very first inductee for 2026 wouldn't have been Stephanie McMahon. I wouldn't have made an announcement that could invite criticism. I would have gone for someone that the fans could have universally got behind, whether that was a John Cena or Randy Orton or posthumously Bray Wyatt. That's what I would have done, but I'm not calling the shots. And as has been made abundantly clear recently, WWE will do what it wants, when it wants, how it wants, and we can either like it or lump it. Of course, Hall of Fames are a very, very subjective thing. There's always going to be criticism to who goes into a Hall of Fame and how it's handled. Not everyone will agree, and that's fine. Some of you all know that I launched my own Hall of Fame earlier this year for this channel, the Wrestling Life Hall of Fame, with 6 inductees. And not everyone agreed with every inductee that was named in that first year, which is absolutely fine. That's A-OK. That's wrestling. That is life. But this Hall of Fame that I launched for Wrestling Life has set out to be an alternative to the WWE Hall of Fame, to the other wrestling Hall of Fames out there. What I've looked to do as someone who has loved this industry for 35 years now is celebrate some unsung heroes and legends of the business that might not otherwise get that opportunity and their big moment up on that stage. And I'm just on the cusp of getting ready to announce who will be the first inductees into the Wrestling Life Hall of Fame of 2026. There's going to be announcements coming out on this channel over the next few weeks. I'm really, really excited to share them with you. I've been having lots of conversations with people, really researching and thinking hard about who feels like the right people to enter this Hall of Fame. People not just for what they've done in their wrestling career, but also what they've done in their wider life. So, I'm sure when I make those inductees, there'll be similar opinions. Some will love them, some won't, and that's okay, because Hall of Fames are subjective. And as is Stephanie McMahon's induction, some will love it, some won't. I do think it's deserved. I do want to say congratulations to Stephanie McMahon. Whilst I'm not in a great place with WWE and its politics and how it's running at the moment, I do value the Hall of Fame each year. I do think it's a really, really special weekend. I love looking back on old legends and seeing them celebrated. And I'm sure it'll be a wonderful speech. I'm sure it'll be a very special time for her family and for her girls. So it is a congratulatory message for Stephanie McMahon. I do think she deserves it. I just would like to have seen it maybe handled a bit differently and not be happening next year, but to be planned a bit further forward. There's a lot of people, especially on the female side, that deserve a space in the WWE Hall of Fame. And I hope that this isn't a closed door for Victoria in 2026. I know she's close to Vegas. I really hope Lisa Marie gets her place in the Hall of Fame, because by golly, she deserves it. And she's a great, great person. That's it for today. Love to hear your feedback. What do you think? Do you think it's deserved for Stephanie McMahon? Who do you think will be inducted into the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame? Who do you hope will be inducted into the 2026 Wrestling Life Hall of Fame, more importantly? Just introduce memberships on this channel as well. So if you're able to become a member of the Wrestling Life channel, it's just a few pounds, few dollars a month. All of that money is reinvested into helping me to continue to create this independent content as a fan for fans. Thank you so much for listening to me today. As always, take care of each other. I've been Ben Veal. This has been Wrestling Life. See you soon. Bye.